Hey guys, today is a sitting down video. I've been trying to shoot today and it's hard. This is hard. One of the things that I'm working on is basically to film even when I don't feel like filming, because that's what YouTube people do. And I'm trying it out. I'm just trying out to see how hard is it. It's very hard to film when you don't feel like filming and you don't think you have anything to talk about. But it's good practice for me because I do a lot of listening and sometimes not a lot of talking. And the more I do this, the better I get at talking. And that means a lot to me because, especially being my editor, I go through and I see the things that I see how unpracticed I am in speaking and how mindless I am in my speaking. And it's not something I'm angry at myself for. It's just something that I notice. I think there is a part of me that wants to judge. My perfectionist, of course, wants to judge me. Of course, it wants to go after me for all these things that I'm not doing right and I'm not doing perfectly. I'm trying to do things. I'm striking a compromise with my perfectionist. Since my perfectionist is also, its job that I have given it is editing. Editing is where my perfectionist really shines and actually does some good for me, and I think is very productive and helpful to me, and I benefit from my perfectionist when I'm editing. Now, my editing's not perfect, but my perfectionist is aware of my limits, and there's just a certain point that it's just no, I'll let this go. That's not true, because I haven't done my sketchy requests in a long time, because I think that my perfectionist was how am I going to top the panda? How do we top that? And it's you don't. The whole point of sketchy request was that sketchy. It's not supposed to be. You got a little caught up in that one and you had a lot of fun doing it, and it turned out great, but that wasn't the point of the exercise. But my perfectionist got into control and kind of now has held me up. Now there's other issues. There are other issues with the sketchy requests, is that they do sometimes can take a while, and I lose time on creating videos in order to do the sketchy requests. So I'm working really, really hard right now on doing these daily videos, so that even when I don't feel like it, so that I have practice on my editing, and it again, the production line, I want it to be fast. I want to speed up. I don't want this to be something that is difficult for me. I want it just even a based form of video to just come easy, and that I can put it together in a few hours and then move on to other projects and just have more time to work on other things that can contribute to my video making process and make it more interesting. So that's a big one that I'm working on, is this filming, even when I don't want to. Another thing that I'm working on, and this is part of my compromise with my perfectionist self, is I am trying to enunciate more. I'm trying to say my E's a little more clearly. If I do that, I find that I have a slower speech pattern that's more clear and so much easier to edit. I am able to edit my speech pattern previous to practicing this, but it's really hard. And sometimes there's certain things I can't get the way I want them to because I slurred an area, or it's just not usable because I spoke too fast. I didn't open my mouth enough and I lost what I was trying to say. I have used text to get through those parts, but it would be nice to just practice this. So I'm practicing enunciating more and saying my E's a little more clearly, because that seems to adjust the rest of my speech when I do that. But it also looks like I'm smiling all the time when I'm practicing my E's. So even when I'm mad, I'll probably look like I'm happy. Fuck. There's that. The other thing that I'm working on to part of the compromise with my perfectionist editorial self is I am working on not saying so and uhs and ums so much. And I know that's like a common like speech, like people who do a lot of speeches, that's a common practice to not do uhs and such. And it's so habitual. This is going to be a really hard one, and it's not going to happen very often. But I noticed when I was editing my mukbang and just going through the video, I said so and uhs and ums so much. And I know it's a placeholder, but I'm going to work on it, and maybe, it'll improve things, and maybe not. We'll see. And I wanted to say so much right there. So, third thing I'm working on is to not confuse I think and I feel. I did that at least once in the mukbang yesterday. I noticed that, and I sometimes do it in my previous videos, but this is something I've been trying to work on for a long time. And granted, each one of these takes a certain amount of focus and concentration, so it might be impossible for me to practice all three. I might just have to do one at a time. But these are all on my radar. But this one in particular has been on my radar for a long time, especially the more I've practiced distinguishing my thoughts from my feelings, from my behaviors, like those three things, keeping them separate. And I noticed this a while, and I know I had the habit. I picked up this habit back in college because a friend of mine would say it all the time, and it sounded good because it sounded really heartfelt and to the point. When someone says, I feel that blah, 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 I feel that this something is bad, or I feel that you're being an asshole, like all of those things, saying like I feel. However, when I say I feel, a feeling word should come after it. So I feel angry, I feel hurt, I feel scared, I feel happy, I feel elated, and practice my feeling words that come after that, because it feels, because saying I feel makes the thought feel more heartfelt, therefore more honest. I also think there's part of me that makes it feel like that it's harder to contradict or to criticize, and that's really sneaky. That's a sneaky thing that I'm doing there. So I'm trying to get out of that habit, and so that if I'm going to say something that doesn't involve feeling words, then I have to put I think. So, if I don't say I feel like you're an asshole, I have to say I think you're an asshole. Or I feel like what you're telling me is not 100% true. I would say I think what you're telling me is not 100% true. It's a big difference in it. And I think that doing that as a practice will help with what I think is a chronic problem on the emotional body scale, is that most people are practicing integrating their thoughts and their feelings in a way that is not helpful, because if you can't control your feelings, but you can kind of partially control your thoughts, it's part of the process of understanding what you can and can't control. So you're not always blaming yourself for having a feeling, because all feelings are okay. So that's another thing I'm working on. And then the final thing that I'm working on was actually something I learned yesterday from my mukbang, was that I need to make myself uncomfortable. I keep talking about how we have to be comfortable with discomfort, and and especially with depression being kind of a pain, especially with depression, which I consider a pain condition, being acquainted and comfortable with discomfort is a good thing. And my perfectionist was so uncomfortable with that mukbang. You could hear me judging it. It's weird. This is weird. But by the end, I was saying I had fun. My perfectionist had no idea what I was getting into. So I'm going to be doing more videos like that. I'm going to start experimenting a lot more. So it might slow down the speed of production, and that's fine, especially if it's going to make videos that I find to be a lot of fun to make and interesting to watch. And interesting to edit. The so, gosh, the so and the ums, it's gonna be so hard. I'm excited for that. I want to challenge my perfectionist, and the mukbang challenged my perfectionist beautifully, wonderfully. It was a wonderful feeling to see that side of me sperm and then go through with it, because it was a completely like impulsive thing to do it. Like, I just don't know why I just felt like doing it. I think my subconscious knows that this is what I need right now. So even though my perfectionist judging self is trying to tell me like, no, that's too weird. No, you have to be like this. No, these are the rules of YouTube. This is what you have to be on YouTube. My subconscious knows that's not true. And I'm going to roll with it. And so I don't know what's going to happen on this channel next. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right. So I don't know how that's gonna get adjusted. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Okay, I love you guys. These are just the things I'm working on for now. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be away for a long weekend and not somewhere where I'll be making videos. So how do I say? So in conclusion, therefore, I won't be uploading a lot of videos over this weekend till I return on Tuesday. So it means I might get a video up by next Wednesday. So there will be a lull because I'll be away. So yeah, all right, you know what? The so thing, I'm just going to have to let it slide because I don't even know what I'm going to do about that. I do like the sitting down one because I think I needed to sit for this one. I had too much caffeine. But yeah, I totally wasn't going to say so. I'm excited to be working on these things. I do feel like the process is getting faster and I am learning stuff and it's uncovering things that make me incredibly uncomfortable. And I love that. And I've just got to lean into it further and then document it so you guys can all watch me suffer. I love you. Thank you for being here. For those of you who actually watch these, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I love you, and let's see what happens next. Going to outro.